accidentally watched a video of my wife publicly humiliating me by cheating. It tore my world apart, destroyed our family, and left me plotting revenge. But just as I was ready to act, karma struck with a twist I never saw coming. Luca Moretti always considered himself a fortunate man. A respected professor of economics at a prestigious university in Milan. He had a beautiful wife, Sofia, and a bright, lively 10-year-old daughter, Chiara. Their life seemed perfect, a harmonious mix of love, ambition, and domestic happiness. But one fateful evening everything changed. While preparing for a lecture, a notification appeared on Luca's laptop. It was from an anonymous sender with the cryptic subject line, "You deserve to know the truth." Curious but cautious, he clicked the link. What he saw shattered his world. The grainy footage unmistakably showed Sofia, his wife of 12 years, at an extravagant rooftop party. She was laughing, drinking, and passionately kissing another man. It wasn't a quick kiss. It was deep, intimate, and impossible to misinterpret. As the video continued, Sofia's behavior grew bolder. She flirted openly with the man, a younger, arrogant entrepreneur Luca recognized from their social circle, and even mocked her boring husband in front of a crowd. Luca's heart broke into pieces. Trembling, he closed the laptop as humiliation and betrayal washed over him. The woman in the video didn't seem like the one he thought he knew. Every laugh, every cruel comment from Sofia felt like a knife twisting in his chest. That night, sleepless and staring at the ceiling, tormenting questions plagued Luca. How long had this been happening? Was their entire marriage a lie? By morning, despair turned into resolve. He needed answers and a plan. The next day, Luca confronted Sofia. At first, she denied everything, her expression feigning innocence. But when he played the video, her demeanor shifted from shock to defiance. "It was a mistake," she stammered, tears streaming down her face. "I was drunk. It didn't mean anything." Didn't mean anything. Luca's voice quivered with suppressed rage. "You mocked me. You called me boring. Is that what you really think of me?" Sofia's tears turned into anger. "I've spent years supporting you, Luca. Years being the perfect wife while you buried yourself in work. Maybe if you'd paid more attention to me." Her words stung, but Luca wasn't buying her excuses. The laughter, the cruel comments, and the ease with which she flaunted her betrayal were not the actions of someone who had made a simple mistake. After hours of questioning, Sofia finally admitted that the affair had been ongoing for months. Her lover, Matteo, was a younger, ambitious tech entrepreneur who had charmed her with his confidence and extravagant lifestyle. Luca's world crumbled. The love of his life had betrayed him, ridiculed him, and shattered their family. Yet as days passed, his grief hardened into anger. He resolved not to let her get away with it. Luca began planning his next moves with meticulous precision. As an economist, strategy and foresight were his strengths. He started by gathering evidence. Over several weeks, he discreetly collected incriminating texts, emails, and other details from Sofia's devices. Late at night, he combed through her phone records and social media accounts, piecing together a timeline of her lies. He even hired a private investigator to track Sofia and Matteo, documenting every clandestine meeting. The more Luca uncovered, the deeper the betrayal seemed. Lavish trips to exclusive resorts, expensive gifts Matteo had given her, and elaborate lies to cover her absences. All of it painted a painful picture. But Luca's fury wasn't limited to Sofia. Matteo was also a target. Through the investigator, Luca discovered that Matteo's company engaged in shady business practices, skirting regulations to win lucrative contracts. Luca saw this as an opportunity for leverage. Meanwhile, he devised a plan to make Sofia feel the same public humiliation she had inflicted on him. Using the evidence he'd gathered, Luca created an anonymous email campaign, leaking snippets to members of their social circle. Gossip spread quickly, and soon Sofia became the subject of whispers and judgmental glances. Invitations to glamorous events stopped, and friends began avoiding her. Sophia confronted Luca one evening, her face a mix of fury and desperation. "How dare you expose our private matters to the world?" she shouted. "Private matters?" Luca replied, his voice icy. "You humiliated me in public, Sophia. Did you think there wouldn't be consequences?" Her defiance faltered, replaced by a flicker of fear. She had underestimated him, assuming he would retreat into his quiet, predictable life. But this new Luca was unrecognizable, calm, calculating, and relentless. Luca wasn't done yet. He tipped off regulators anonymously about Matteo's shady business dealings. Within weeks, Matteo's company came under investigation. His assets were frozen, his reputation was ruined, and journalists pounced on the scandal. They exposed not only Matteo's unethical practices but also his personal indiscretions. Once hailed as the golden boy of the tech industry, Matteo became a pariah overnight. Meanwhile, Sophia found herself ostracized by her social circle. Her glamorous lifestyle crumbled. Her calls to Matteo went unanswered, and the man she had risked everything for abandoned her without hesitation. Luca watched it all unfold with grim satisfaction. Just as Luca was ready to move to the final phase of his plan, filing for divorce and securing custody of Chiara, something unexpected happened. One evening, he received a call from Matteo's assistant, a young woman named Alizia. She sounded nervous but determined. "Professor Moretti, you need to know something," she began. "Matteo has been using Sophia." Alizia revealed that Matteo had never truly cared about Sophia. To him, she was just another conquest, a way to climb higher in social circles and secure business connections through her charm. But when Matteo's world began to crumble, he abandoned her and publicly blamed her for distracting him from his work. The betrayal within a betrayal stunned Luca. As much as he wanted Sophia to face consequences, he hadn't expected Matteo to discard her so ruthlessly. Sophia, who once believed herself untouchable, was now utterly alone. A week later, Sophia showed up at Luca's door. Her once radiant face was pale and tear-streaked. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I made a terrible mistake." Luca stared at her, his emotions a storm of anger, pity, and confusion. Part of him wanted to slam the door in her face and relish her misery. But another part, the part that still remembered the woman he had loved for over a decade, hesitated. "I can't forgive you, Sophia," he said finally. "But for Chiara's sake, I'll be civil." Sophia nodded, tears streaming down her cheeks. She left without another word, and Luca felt an unexpected sense of closure. The revenge he had sought had come full circle, not just through his actions, but through the natural unraveling of lies and deceit. In the months that followed, Luca finalized the divorce and gained primary custody of Chiara. He poured his energy into his work and his role as a father, finding joy in the small, steady steps of rebuilding his life. Slowly, he began dating again, cautiously but with newfound optimism. Sophia, meanwhile, faded from their social circles. Her reputation was beyond repair. She moved to a modest apartment on the outskirts of the city, her once glamorous life reduced to memories. One evening, as Luca tucked Chiara into bed, she asked, "Daddy, are you happy now?" He paused, reflecting on everything they had been through. "I am," he said softly. "Because we have each other, and that's what matters most." Betrayal cuts deep, but sometimes karma delivers justice far better than any revenge plot ever could.